interested in taking control of your health? Here with everything we need to know is Dr. Holly Phillips. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Get us started. What do we need to know to take control of our health?
Well, we rarely think about taking control of our health and paying attention to our health care as like a rite of passage into adulthood. But it actually very much can be. But still, even if you are an adult, a lot of these strategies can still be really useful to you as well.
What should we know about insurance?
So taking control of our health insurance and just knowing about it is really critical, and most of us, frankly, don't. I mean, myself included.
You never know.
So the first thing is have your insurance card with you at all times. But to be realistic about it, you're not going to carry a wallet around all the time. Put it in your phone. Take a photo, though, of the front and the back.
Yeah, they always ask for the back.
It has those really important phone numbers on it. So if you end up at the doctor's office or if there's an emergency, you have access to it. And then just know some basics about your plan, real basics. Just what is your copay? What is your deductible? Are your doctors in-network, out-of-network? And if they are, how much you might owe. And one thing that we often don't think about is to make sure our pharmacy accepts our insurance. Often we might think the pharmacy is not willing to pay for our medication, but in fact, it's that the pharmacy doesn't accept our insurance. So
That's so interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't even think that.
How about a primary care doctor?
So we need to, one of the real steps with adulting is getting your own grown-up primary care doctor. But that's best done before you're sick, right? So do it while you're healthy. Just put it on your checklist of things to do. As a primary care doctor, I think of myself as a quarterback. So patients get into me for their annual physicals. Get your annual physicals, guys. Healthcare maintenance. I set up all of their screening tests, their vaccines. I send them to specialists if they need it, manage their medications. So establishing a good relationship with a primary care doctor that's a fit for you is ideal before anything happens where you need to make a rush appointment.
What about our health history? Should we have that? Because sometimes they will ask, if you're in the doctor's office, questions that I know I should know. But for some reason, I do not know.
Absolutely. Now, this one really applies to adults of all ages, not just 18-year-olds. Recently I had a 40-something-year-old young man in my office who said, he had to call his mom on his cell phone to see if he had a rod in his arm. He had broken his arm at some point. He knew he had surgery on it, but couldn't remember if the surgery needed a rod or if it was,
He was a kid? Or a
no,
teenager?
he was in his 20s. But,
That's
still, he just
wild.
couldn't remember if there was metal in there or not.
So know that stuff.
So these are things where you can just write that down. If you're on medications, keep a list of your medications, again, on your phone, all of them by name so that you know and what they're for, allergies, health history, family history, just a little blurb. Thank God we have these cell phones now because it makes things so easy.
What other health documents do we need to know about?
So this one's really important, especially for young people because young people tend to think they don't need to worry about this. Parents are often surprised that once their kids turn 18, they no longer have access to their health information without the child's consent. But there's documentation needed to give that consent. So young people can just start to create a health file, and you put a few documents in there. One is a HIPAA form. Anyone you would like to have access to your health care information, if it's your parents, if it's another adult, you can just write that down. There's a healthcare proxy, which really defines someone who can make decisions on your behalf medically if you can't. And then there's an advanced healthcare directive, which is just your wishes if you cannot make decisions. All of these documents can just be printed out so easily on on the internet, signed, and in most states they are all legally binding. Without you don't need a lawyer, none of this, you know.
A couple witnesses,
rigmarole.
maybe a witness or something like that.
Some of them, in some
Yeah.
states, you actually do need to go to a notary public. I was like, what does that stand for? A notary public, and get them done.
What are other healthy habits we should be following?
You know, really, as we're talking about adulting, I find that the healthiest adults are really those who started to take care of their health and their health care.
Proactively.
Proactively, right? If you're 43, you didn't start at 42. It's really about the basic things. You know, we say them all the time, but it's worth saying again. Getting enough sleep, you know, moving your body, eating healthfully most of the time, and getting in for your annual physical, your screenings, your prevention, and just being proactive about your health. These are all things that pay off in the long term.
Really
All right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thanks, Dr. Holly.
Great.
For these tips and more, head to our website,